Green team, buckle up. Today's video is gonna give you chills. Seriously, we've got one story that'll leave you speechless, another that'll have you jumping up and yelling, "Let's go Celtics!" And one that, well, let's just say it might break some hearts. A beloved name could be on the edge, a silent star might be ready to roar, and a legendary run just got spiced up. You won't believe what's coming. So grab your seat, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive straight into the news. Let's kick things off with one of those topics that splits the fan base in two. Luke Kornet. Yep, we're talking about the silent wall. The 7-footer who carved out his role in the Celtics rotation, not just with his size, but with a high basketball IQ. But his time in Boston might be running out. And that's not an overreaction, so hear this out. Standing at 7'2", Kornet has been a crucial bench piece. He's averaging 18 minutes per game with 5.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and nearly a block per game. But check this out, he's shooting 68% from the field. That's not just good, it's elite. It's surgical efficiency, and it gets better. His on-court presence changes the game. When he's on the floor with Tatum, the Celtics are +0.9. With Brown, a solid +11.6. That's no coincidence. That's real impact. He might not show up in the highlight reels, but if you actually watch the games, you know. Kornet sets surgical screens, runs the pick and roll with smarts, and delivers sharp passes in the short roll. He keeps the ball moving. The offense breathes better with him, and on defense, that's where he really shines. Around the rim, he holds opponents to just 52% shooting, well below the league average of 62%. He disrupts offenses just by being in the right spot. No blocks needed, just presence and positioning. Now here comes the bitter part. Kornet is a free agent at the end of the season. And Boston, they're buried deep in the second luxury tax. Abron. We're talking about a roster that'll cost around $230 million. With another $270 million in penalties. Insane! And while the Celtics can technically offer more than the vet minimum, if another team shows up offering him $5 to $10 million a year, that's gonna be hard to beat. And let's be honest, teams will come calling. The front office might try to keep him with a long-term, lower annual deal, but that depends on a lot of things. Al Horford might retire. Porzingis has a concerning injury history, and if the CEO, our plan is to keep the core intact. Holiday, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, someone's gotta go. Maybe Sam Hauser? Maybe. Holiday or Porzingis? Only as a last resort. But if one of them is traded, then yeah, maybe they can keep our big guy. Nobody wants to break up a championship roster over spreadsheet numbers. But the cap doesn't care about chemistry, and Kornet knows his value is rising. Fans are already taking to social media with renewal campaigns, fan art, and memes like "Don't let the corn go." The big question, how far does Kornet's loyalty go? Is he willing to stay for less? Or will he chase the paycheck? And that's not even the wildest story of the day. While Kornet's making noise in the paint, another guy is turning heads off the bench. And this time, it's so loud, it's echoing across the league. Yep, we're talking about Peyton Pritchard, the Energizer Bunny of the Celtics. Believe it or not, he's the favorite to win the 2025 Sixth Man of the Year award. And no, that's not just fan bias. The betting markets are backing it. Peyton's got one hand on that trophy already. Let's break down the numbers. Pritchard is averaging 14 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game. Decent? Sure, but then you look at the efficiency. 47% shooting overall, and a deadly 41% from beyond the arc. That's lethal bench production. Compare that to last season's 9.6 points per game. That's a monster leap. And he's logging 28 minutes a night. His role's been growing year after year. 13 minutes in 2022 to 23, 22 in 2023 to 24, and now he's a fixture in the rotation. And here's the best part. He always delivers. He changes the tempo when he checks in, energizes the squad, hits clutch shots, and brings the hustle on D. He's the emotional spark plug off the bench. When Peyton's fired up, the whole team responds. You feel it. The garden erupts when he nails a buzzer beater 3. And that stuff matters. It's not just stats, it's storyline. It's impact. When's the last time a Celtic won this award? Can't even remember, it's that rare. This would be a huge personal milestone and a symbol of the deep roster Brad Stevens built. Let's be real. Pritchard is one of the faces of this bench renaissance. A rotation once knocked for being top heavy now boasts Peyton, Hauser, and Kornet as a reliable second unit, sometimes even dominant, and it's poetic. Pritchard, a 4-year player at Oregon, was an All-American in his senior year. They called him the Clutch King back then, and now he's proving it on the biggest stage, wearing one of the most iconic jerseys in the league. He won a ring last year, but this award would be his first major individual accolade. Proof that he's not just a piece, he's a pillar. While he's chasing that hardware, the Celtics remain locked in as the East's second seed. The Cavs may have clinched home court, but does that even matter to Boston? Because if there's one thing this team does, it's win on the road. But hold up, this next part might be the most unbelievable yet. You might be thinking, okay, Peyton's breaking out, Kornet's our unsung hero, but is this squad ready for another playoff run? Truth is, the road to a repeat is bumpier than ever. And we gotta get real, because even with all this talent, the Celtics 2025 mission might be hanging by a thread. Let's start at the top. The Cavs are sitting pretty with the East top seed, home court locked in. And yeah, they're playing lights out. But honestly, that doesn't scare me. Why? Because the Celtics are road warriors. Believe it or not, they've actually been better on the road than at home this season. And we've seen this movie before. Remember Game 7 in Miami, 2022. Road. Came. Big win. The jersey carries weight. History speaks loud. But the real problem isn't the opponent. It's internal. Right there in the locker room. Because while the team's trying to fine-tune before the playoffs, the injury bug's showing up. And that changes everything. Jason Tatum sprained his ankle at the end of March and hasn't played since. Doesn't seem serious, but missing. These late season games hurts momentum. And when he returns, will he be 100%? And he's not alone. Jaylen Brown's had a scare too. Knee issues kept him out as a precaution. But let's be honest, your two best players dealing with injuries right before the playoffs? That's a red alert. With the East more competitive than ever, Cavs surging, Bucks regrouping, Pacers clicking, Knicks charging, every detail could be the difference between a title run and an early exit. Yes, the roster is deep. Yes, Mazzulla's system is sharp. And the defense is clicking. But without a fully healthy Tatum and Brown, this mission becomes near impossible. Repeating as champs takes perfection. Maximum firepower. And right now, fans are already lighting candles, hoping everyone's at full strength for Game 1. One thing the Celtics do have on their side, championship DNA. 18 banners, a living dynasty, a locker room filled with winners. That could be the edge, the mental toughness, the experience. These guys know what it takes. And even if they're the visitors, they won't be intimidated. The real question is, will this squad be whole when it matters most? Because if they are, look out. Nobody's stopping us. But check this. There's a behind-the-scenes story that's turning into a running joke in the locker room. And it says a lot about this team's mindset. Picture this. The Celtics are blowing out the Suns by 20. The Garden's going wild. And suddenly Derek White gets hit with a tech. The crowd's confused. Him? The calmest guy on the team. But hold on, the tech gets rescinded. And that's where it gets hilarious. Jason Tatum celebrates like it was a championship. No joke. He wanted White to get teed up. Why would Tatum, who's racked up 66 techs himself and is just 2 away from a suspension, want a teammate to get one? Simple. Respect. Street cred, as he put it, if you caught the reference, is straight. From the longest yard, Chris Rock's "Man, I got half a star." Tatum says White needs to level up, get more vocal, stand his ground with the refs. Basically, stop being the nice guy and start leading with fire. It's funny, sure, but it's also deep. Because this is about mindset, about how this squad is mentally gearing up for the war ahead. Tatum, who's taken plenty of heat from officials over the years, is now pushing his teammates to engage in the mental battle. That's leadership. That's culture. To date, White's only received 1 actual tech, back in January against the Clippers when he caught Amir Coffey in the face contesting a shot. Other than that, he's been the Zen master. But come playoff time, when tensions are sky high, can he stay quiet? Tatum doesn't think so. And it looks like the team's buying into that mindset too. It's become a meme in the locker room. Tatum's even joked he'll hug White the day he gets a legit tech. And while it's all laughs on the surface, it points to something critical. The vibes are good. This group is tight. Even with pressure, injuries, and looming cap decisions, they're still having fun. They're confident, they're hungry. And that's gold for fans, because a talented team that's united, way more dangerous than a group of superstars out for solo glory. The Celtics have chemistry. They've got a hierarchy, real camaraderie. Tatum jokes, but he also holds guys accountable. White laughs, but he listens. That's the kind of locker room that builds legends. And let's be honest, White already has a ton of credit for his defensive prowess. But if he starts getting vocal with the refs, he might earn even more respect on the floor. Not just from opponents, but from the officials too. Because yes, that matters. Assertive players get the benefit of the doubt. If Tatum's campaigning for it, it's because the war's already started. And he wants a fully armed squad, mentally and emotionally. So now that it's all on the table, will that unity be enough to carry them through the fire? Let's recap. Kornet might be on his way out due to a brutal cap situation. Pritchard's on the verge of making history as 6th man of the year. Tatum and Brown are dealing with injuries at the worst possible time. And even the locker room is heating up with the Shakes Get White A-Tech campaign. The team's tight, but will that be enough when things get real in the playoffs? Now I want to hear from you. Is keeping Kornet a must or madness? Does Pritchard deserve that award? And can his locker room chemistry carry them through the gauntlet? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like the video.